Hi, I actually love art history, and I wanted to tell you a story about why perspective drawing came about. And you had lessons on perspective drawing in class. So I want to explain to you why we need to use perspective drawing in our own art. So imagine way back in the 1400s, there was a building, a basilica in Florence that was half built, and it was larger than a football field in length, almost by double, and almost as wide as a football field in the width. So there was a problem because during that time, drawings were flat. Nobody used perspective drawing. And there was really no way to explain how this church, this basilica, would have this beautiful dome built on the top of it. So there was a man who was a goldsmith, he was an artist, he was a mathematician, and he was famous for being an architect. His name was Filippo Brunelleschi, and he was backed by a very wealthy family called the Medici. And the Medici wanted him to finish this dome because the building was basically unfinished. So Brunelleschi had a problem. He wanted to show a three-dimensional beautiful building and the dome that he wanted to construct, but he couldn't because everything was flat. All the drawings were flat. So he went back to his studio and using linear perspective drawing, which is a fancy name for 1-point or 2-point perspective drawings, he devised a mathematical way of drawing this dome. And I'm going to show you in some slides what that looked like. But mainly, this is the reason I taught you perspective drawing and why we use it. So, going back to Brunelleschi, he devised a plan where the building looked three-dimensional by using a horizon line, a vanishing point. I think in his case he used several, so maybe 2 points on the horizon line. And he created the appearance of depth and width on a flat piece of paper so that the church looked three-dimensional. So perspective drawing has to do with perceiving distance. So this train track image reminds me of your 1-point drawings in class when you did the cactus going away in the distance. Notice the vanishing tracks. That's where things disappear at the back where the vanishing point is on the horizon. So we can also make 2-point perspective drawings. So we're going to talk about that coming up. 2-point drawings have 3 things in common. All perspective drawings have it. A horizon line, a vanishing point, and 2 points are on the horizon line instead of 1. An orthogonal line are those helper lines that we draw from the corner of an object that you put on the page. So if you were going to draw a cube, you would first make a leading edge where you want your cube to be on your paper. Then from the corner of the leading edge, you would draw to your vanishing point number 1. And then also you could draw from the bottom edge of that object to the same vanishing point number 1, and so forth. To make a cube, though, you would add more lines and draw to the opposite vanishing point. That creates the edge of our objects. So the objects can be drawn in perfect perspective above, on, or below your horizon line. So in the image of the School of Athens by Raphael, and this painting was made as a fresco, So it was actually a painting on wet plaster done in 1505. This is an example of architectural perspective on a flat painting. Has a central vanishing point. 1 point linear perspective made this painting look real because he had the people, the figures in this painting going away from us. As you look, you can look way into the distance in the architecture. So things look real and not flat, where everything is in the correct distances from one another, and the objects on the page and all of the sizes are correct. So this is why we need perspective drawing in our own art, because it makes things look real. And that is the reason I taught it to you. So I hope you enjoyed this art history lesson today, because I find art history fascinating and I love to know how things started and why artists did things. Goodbye.